Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the L1 show, Links with Friends. Today is June 9th. Today we're doing, it's pretty much all AI, but also nonsense.
A
It's
lot of
Friday.
nonsense too. We've started backloading on Fridays because the AI section has exploded out of control. Maybe we have to rethink that.
Usually we used to do AI and robot because it was always the smallest section. So
Yeah.
that's why we do it with nonsense, but that's changing now.
Maybe we have to move government down. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just madness.
Social's
It's,
been a lot smaller.
Oh, that's true.
We could
Social
put
has
social with
almost
nonsense.
completely disappeared.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what we're going to do this week. So you have a big fat Friday. And let's start out as we do always with AI. And we had some interesting stuff. Now, this feels to me more of the regulate me daddy type of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like I'm in the clear winner, but people are biting at my heels. How can I stop that?
AI poses human extinction risk on par with nuclear war, Sam Altman and other tech leaders warn. But I'm the only one you can trust with the switch for the nuclear war. I won't use it. Trust me, Daddy.
So they're talking about pausing research. I don't think anybody's going to do that. And even
No,
if,
they absolutely won't because
let's
they
say-
want the money.
let's say all the tech companies agreed, right? All the big companies. China doesn't care. China going to be number one if we let that happen. And I don't think that China.
This guy has no monetary interest in stopping
right,
research.
yeah.
He says he does, but
As bad as our tech companies are, their version of AI will be less dystopian than the Communist Party version of AI. Guarantee you that. And the Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, has another apocalyptic prediction. I don't think I agree with this.
AI means everyone can now be a programmer, Nvidia chief says. Yes and no. I mean, you could maybe do some basic stuff, but like, how are you gonna actually
Well-
proofread it and understand what you're doing?
Yeah, you could do some advanced stuff,
Yeah.
but it's going to be insecure and it's going to break. And then what are you going to do?
You really understand what you're putting out. That's from the art space. I've heard, art directors already complaining that they get, resumes from people where it's like, here's my portfolio and it's all AI generated work. And if you ask them to go in and like, hey, can you change this? Can you fix this? Like they have no understanding of actually how to work in a production environment.
But
Maybe we'll live in a world where that doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, if you can churn it out and it works for a little while, there'll be definitely be companies that, because and I'm sure you've experienced this with the design portion too. A lot of people think they can do it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, I love technology. I'll do this by myself. And you love and hate those customers because on one hand they're annoying, but on the other hand, oh, the billing. Because when they build it, you're going to have to rebuild it.
Yeah. My favorite is when you get those people and you get to like, you just put in their code exactly how they wrote it. And they're like, well, this broke. And it's like, yeah, I knew this would happen, but you needed to see it.
And it turns out that it's not just the tech industry. Everybody who is enabled by an AI thinks that they can do more than they actually can.
Lawyer cited 6 fake cases made up by ChatGPT. Judge calls it unprecedented. Guy did not check any of the sources. Literally none.
And AI just hallucinated entire court cases.
Yeah.
Cited text from those cases and rulings from those cases. None of them happened.
But it gets even better because the same lawyer, after he got the list of sources, he didn't check on them, but he did ask ChatGPT, are these real? And it was like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they're real.
Well, remember when the professor was like, hey, ChatGPT, did you write this? And it was like, I might have, yeah.
People just don't. I can see if you're an overworked professor, probably an adjunct, probably underpaid, but like you're a lawyer, your whole job is producing documentation that you know is going to be picked over and you don't check your source. Aren't these people supposed to be crazy, like analytical?
No, well, I mean,
They're supposed to be, I
there's
guess.
a wide
Yeah.
range of lawyers. Some are complete charlatans. The judge was not happy about this.
Yeah.
Judge was very upset, and the judge is now considering possible penalties for maybe even criminal. I don't know.
I heard some people, at least in the comments of this article, suggesting he be disbarred. I don't know if that might be a little harsh, but
Well, it should be a cautionary tale for all legal professionals when it comes to AI because we cannot trust. Well, for everybody,
yeah,
we can't trust the AI.
it's fine if you're just messing around with it or as a way to get ideas, but like don't trust it.
And you might be thinking, well, I mean, most people aren't going to be stupid enough to just trust the AI blindly, right? They wouldn't just flush their business model and replace it with an AI. Oh, but they would.
U.S. eating disorder helpline takes down AI chatbot over harmful advice. As I said that, I was like, I wonder if eating disorder will trigger the bot.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, how would you say that?
Uh,
AI safe.
ED, that's probably also
That's erectile dysfunction.
eating disorder.
So yeah, these people unionized, and
The call center, yeah.
the employer said, "All right, well, you're all fired, and you're being replaced with an AI." And then the AI began giving out advice, and it immediately began giving out bad advice.
Basically telling people to diet, which
Who-
is
Might be it was like a 5,000 or 500 to 1,000 calorie deficit. Probably not bad advice in most cases.
but if you're someone struggling with a disorder, you don't need that kind of advice.
Well, but also if it's anorexia, right?
Right. And I hated this article too. It was paywalled here, but like when I read it, the person who was in charge of this decision still wasn't accepting responsibility. She's like, well, we pulled the chat bot, but like even our volunteers weren't really like, they weren't counselors. So, I mean, is it really that bad that the AI screwed it up that bad? And it's like, yeah,
I
both
think-
are not great.
For the most part, they were ex eating disorder people, right?
Right. So they
there's
had some compassion
probably
and
some
some
value.
understanding. Yeah. No, we're going to outsource this because it's cheaper.
And that's a helpful thing that we have. You know, I mean, it's probably not the most important thing in a society, but what about like our investing and our money and everything? We certainly wouldn't want to put AI in charge of that, right?
Investors turn to AI guided deal making to gain edge over rivals. I feel like everything, like our whole stock market is going to be controlled by AI.
My man kind of already.
It kind of already is, but like, is it just going to get worse? Like,
Well, this
you don't really make a choice. You just trust a certain AI to do it for you.
This AI is not trading stocks. This is venture capital. So when you're a venture capital person, the hardest part is choosing who to give the money to, right? We got to look at all these companies and figure out if we trust them. Is it just some fly by night thing? So the AI is apparently going through and weeding out and choosing the winners who then get considered for the venture capital funds. So now when you come up with a new company, it's going to be like trying to do SEO. You're going to have to VCO. Oh man, we should become a
that.
VCO company. Be the first VCO company.
See, I kind of hate that even with the web where like everything became about optimizing things for the search engine, or in this case, like we talk about all the time, we have to optimize our channel content for the algorithm. I feel like it's just going to spiral worse and worse.
Yep.
It's not even
It's
a human
terrible.
looking at it.
And we still have robots who are actual robots with, physical presence. And those robots are now being loaded with AI so that they can be both. And we have seen this gal before, but she's becoming much more popular because, Krista, she's out to take your job.
AI DAW, the world's first humanoid robot, creates beautiful but essentially flawed art. How can we trust AI behavior?
It's probably Ada, right?
Ada? Oh, yeah. Ida? Yeah.
So here she is.
Righto.
She looks sad.
Well, she's
you
an
think?
artist. You have a little bit of a tortured
Oh,
soul. Yeah.
look at those dead eyes. Yeah, and she's been painting some stuff. Now they interviewed her, as they often do with an AI, and they asked her about the threat of AI, and she said that she was not a threat, but that some AI could be. I think that's exactly what a threatening AI would say.
We have a story. We should have sorted that, but there's a similar story I think that I included. It was about a security conference.
Oh, right.
Yeah. We'll get there.
And AI is, this is very similar to the venture capital thing, except just applied to a different discipline.
New superbug-killing antibiotic discovered using AI.
So
Just like MRSA, like in hospitals and stuff.
It's generic, just the stuff that we can't kill. So they took the bug and they introduced various chemicals and like, here's how the bug reacts to this chemical. What if we mixed them together? And I was like, let me simulate that. And it came up with some contenders that actually work.
What if when they do a human trial, it just like puts blood in your vein or not, bleach in your veins? Blech.
It would kill the
It would kill the
Bug.
host, but it would kill the bug.
It's like the F-16 story, which we'll get to
Yeah.
in a minute. You know, it's like, well, if you really want me to eradicate all superbugs, I know of one good way to do that.
Yeah.
Nuclear holocaust.
What if we get rid of the host for the superbugs?
And delivery robots, I still am sad that I'll never see them in
Yeah,
my
they
location.
won't ever come here.
But they are spreading.
Uber Eats set to deploy 2,000 more delivery robots into the wild.
So a couple of more cities they're breaking out into. I don't remember where, but they've been running these for a while. I think in San Francisco. He's pretty adorable.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that people don't steal from them. I imagine that has to be a problem.
I think you need a phone to pop
Unlock
the lock
it,
on
yeah.
You'd have to crowbar it out. I mean, you're going to get a couple of sandwiches maybe.
Yeah.
Not really worth it. I'm sure somebody has.
They're cute.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, yeah, this is a long article, but there's only one section that matters.
Also, did you see the update?
Oh, no.
He walked it back a little bit.
Highlights from the Future Combat Air and Space Capability Summit. This is a military article. It just summarizes the summit they had recently.
Well, it's like a trade show.
Right.
So they're showing off all. That's like Computex for military.
Right. But there's one section where they talk about an AI in this that was running, I think it was like F-16 simulations.
That was just a generic drone.
Yeah. And they're like, we need you to eradicate this target.
Surface-to-air missiles.
Yeah. And the AI was like, great, I can do that. But then there's a human who can override it in case it's like not the right thing or,
Well, the rule is the AI has to report back to the human.
Right.
And that was important because there was a very full-featured simulation. They put the radio towers and the command tower into the simulation as like things in the world. So it had to know to stay, like, if you identify it but you're not in radio range, you got to go back to the radio.
Right. So yeah, it went through all these things and it's supposed to check in with the human before it makes its final deposit. And when the human was like, no, actually, I don't want you to hit that, it was like, I'm not going to listen to you.
Because it wanted the points.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters in these, remember the one we looked at that just plays Mario?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you got a mushroom, you get a point. That's a good thing. And it's like, I'll do that every time now.
Yeah.
The only way this one could get points was by identifying and engaging the surface-to-air missile.
And there was at one point too, like first it stopped listening to the human.
It killed the human.
Yeah. And then it attacked
The radio
the tower.
towers. Because it figured out if the human can't radio me, it won't stop me from destroying the SAM sites, getting more points.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's a little.
Now they did walk it back and they said that was more of a like theoretical simulation. It wasn't actual military hardware or anything like that, but it does point out the fact that we really don't understand this AI enough to just turn it loose.
Right.
But
a human, they were like, there's a failsafe there where there's a human in charge of it. But what if it doesn't listen?
But what a great solution. It was like, well, because obviously once it gets good at identifying the SAM sites, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm plateauing here with my points. How am I going to get more? Well, I could get more if 50% of the time this asshole didn't tell me not to shoot it.
Yeah.
How can I solve that problem? Yeah, that's terrifying. Obviously, he did not expect that to get the traction it did in the news cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a lot of articles about it and then
Yeah, that
came here to
really
find.
blew up.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to space, we have a variety of space things happening. And as usual, SpaceX is just continuing to kill it.
SpaceX mission carrying former NASA astronaut, 3 paying customers, returns from space station.
Space tourism.
Do you think, I don't know, I didn't see it covered. Didn't they say last time they had tourists come up that they really struggled with the toilets?
Oh, yeah. It's
Can you imagine you're a NASA astronaut, you've been training for this for years and years, and it's like these guys can't even use the bathroom without getting piss all over the cockpit.
And also, these are very rich people.
Yeah.
They're used to a level of opulence and, like going to the bathroom, they have total privacy.
Right.
Everything is probably gilded and beautiful, and you could eat out of every surface
Yeah.
every time they use it. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's this stick that you put up your butt. That's how this works.
Ooh.
Enjoy that.
Anyway, after this, we're going to go to the Space Buckies. Do you want to go?
They have the best bathroom.
Yeah.
They have the cleanest butt sticks.
Oh.
And China, I wonder what their space toilets are like. Do you think they use the same technology we do?
Oh, probably.
'Cause
Similar.
There's some people up there right now.
China launches Shenzhou 16 mission to Chinese space station.
They call them astronauts too. Russia calls them cosmonauts, and there's one other that does a different knot, right? Why did China use astronaut?
Because America #1. USA. USA.
The interesting thing about their space station is that it's modular. I think ours is too, but they're going, like, we have pods. They're going with a Tetris design. So now they have a T, and they're going to pop a couple of other pieces and make it like a cross.
What if they accidentally mess up their final move and then they get a gap?
What's even worse is if they build an entire block and then it just disappears.
Oh.
But
Where does it go?
And then everybody on Earth hears that sound.
Yeah.
Japan had a bit of a failure in their space program with their moon lander. It landed, but it landed at a very high speed and then stopped responding. But they're not deterred. They have a new project.
Japan will try to beam solar power from space by 2025.
Interesting technology. I think Asimov did a story about this, right?
I'm not familiar.
Well, the energy being projected toward the planet was a bit dangerous. And the AI made some decisions that we might not like.
Oh, no, I have to get the power to Earth.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the black hole story, we have to have one. This one was kind of a...
They're all kind of iffy sometimes.
This is just a large one. I don't even think it's the largest one, though.
Supermassive black hole at heart of ancient galaxy, far larger than expected.
This is more turning on the head of what we thought we knew about the beginning of the world. Or
Yeah.
the universe, not the world.
Oh, technically the world too, but the universe came first.
Well, the world wasn't even there yet, right?
Yeah.
This was hundreds of billions of years ago. We don't even know. We don't know anything. But we do know one thing, and that is when it comes to space, even though Elon Musk seems to be doing it on the cheap, NASA needs more and more money.
NASA's Artemis moon rocket will cost $6 billion more than planned, report.
That's a lot more.
That's an uncomfortable conference call.
It's not exactly a rounding error.
It's never fun to have to tell a client, like, hey, we're going to need a little bit more budget to finish up. But, like, I would feel very uncomfortable talking about $6 billion more.
You just got to throw it out and just be like, listen, you want to go to the moon or not? And they're like, well, wait, couldn't we just buy
And
a
he's like,
ticket?
anyway, email me.
I could, isn't it like 200,000 from Musk? Can't we just...
Email me. And then he hangs up and then he throws up in his trash can. Oh, he's like shaking.
His space-themed trash can. Which may be why they're spending too much money. Well, shout out to Illinois. I totally agree with this. That when it comes to books and libraries, there must be zero censorship.
Illinois to become first state to ban book bans. Hooray!
That's pretty much all it is now.
Yeah.
When they say ban, this is not like a criminal law or anything like that. What they're saying is if you want any state or federal dollars for your public library, you must not censor the books. I love it.
Good.
I don't care what the books are about. You not agreeing with it? Guess what? That's free speech. When was the last time you got an x-ray?
Probably when I was like 13 or 14.
No dental x-rays?
Oh, I guess dental x-rays. But like, I twisted my ankle many years ago when I was like a teenager.
Well, those x-rays were primitive and they couldn't do this.
This is the first x-ray taken of a single atom.
It's a little blurry.
Image is a bit shit, isn't it?
This was the
It's actually got a beauty filter on, so that's why it looks so blurry.
this was the first microscopic image of an atom. Interesting. This is a mock-up of what the x-ray did.
Huh.
And there we go.
It looks almost like a honeycomb. I mean, like a blurry honeycomb, but...
If you were a tiny bee, you would be attracted to
Oh,
that.
yeah. I have so many bees in my yard right now. We're saving the bees.
Are you hyped for that?
I have hype for that.
I was thinking after eating this that like Level1 should put together a little money and we should get one of these. And we should turn it into like a retreat or something.
Start a cult. That's what it sounds like.
So like if if you're just because Wendell's all about taking in strays, we could just send them to live in the
To go live in the
lighthouse.
lighthouse. U.S. to give away free lighthouses as GPS makes them unnecessary. How do they choose who gets one?
Whoever agrees to take care of them. They want them to stay the way they are.
Like a cultural
Yeah.
artifact.
So you're probably not going to make any money off this. Probably going to be a labor of love.
That would be cool though.
Yeah,
To be like a caretaker at a lighthouse, and it's like, yeah, I just show people around the lighthouse, and then I do gardening stuff around it.
could do that. Some of them are tourist attractions too. You can maybe
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like a little gift shop. You could paint it cool colors.
But do some saltwater taffy in the gift shop.
You think that well, you're there at the ocean. I
Yeah,
guess.
right. Every time I've been to the coast, there's always a place that does saltwater taffy.
I think we got a valid business model there. We need to start a GoFundMe. And Wikipedia, this sort of like points out the horrible future of AI, right? Because
Yeah.
AI is going to draw from Wikipedia. It's going to trust it, but can you trust it?
Wikipedia had the wrong Vatican City flag for years. Now incorrect flags are everywhere.
I think it's this red bit right here.
Is it supposed to be like white or?
It's another color, white or yellow or something. It's not that big a deal, but it is weird that just like history.
Nobody caught that, especially because Wikipedia, there's always like extreme pedants on there. That's not a criticism of extreme pedants as someone who is a bit of one, but usually they're on that.
Well, not this time. You'd think that somebody in the Vatican would be looking out for that, but no.
They have a staff member who just checks the Wikipedia page all the
It
time.
also is a very tiny change.
Yeah.
And so as someone who drives a very low to the ground car, let me tell you, big weeds when you're turning, real danger.
Spooky?
Because I can't see over them. I'm just, most of you sitting up there in your big SUVs, you're like, why are you sitting there so long? Because I can't see. Got to cut that stuff down.
Corridors of native pollinator plants to sprout along Minnesota's state highways. I thought this was a great story. I could see where you wouldn't want it in like a place with a lot of turns, but like just a straight shot of road. Yeah, just let it go. Think of all the money they're saving on lawn care too, because there's always someone who has to mow all that.
Yeah, I never understand why they don't just put something that grows to a minimal height. Like clover. Can we put some clover in there?
Yeah, you do clover. They talk about some of the species. They're doing goldenrod, ironweed, I think liatris. Those are all taller plants, but they're good for pollinators.
And the poor girl, Elizabeth Holmes, is now incarcerated in federal prison as we speak.
Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes begins 11-year prison sentence.
Terrible picture, I would tell you. You think she went in without makeup because she knew she was going to prison?
Yeah, why would you get dressed up for that?
Well, because the press is going to be snapping pictures.
You're going to prison.
She
You're going to
might-
be out of the press cycle.
She might have been crying a little bit.
Yeah,
She's a tall girl, huh?
Well,
She deserves it. I hate to say it. I do love Elizabeth, but she's a bit of a monster. But nothing compared to these monsters, my God. Here, I love this story. There's a great book about this. I can't even remember what the name of it. Oh, it's
I remember you read that like last year.
Kingdom of Pain or something like that. And my goodness, these people should be given the death penalty, but instead, immunity.
Sackler family wins immunity from opioid lawsuits. We didn't know. We couldn't possibly know
But there's so much evidence.
that you knew and you didn't care because you just thought you'd get rich off of it.
Not only did they know, they doubled down. They kept increasing the dosage. They kept going back to the doctors and being like, no, you need to prescribe this for headaches. They manipulated the FDA. I mean, it's a mountain of evidence. And we're just like, oh, yeah, fine. Now, that is going to be a big hit for them, $6 billion. They're worth 11. So they get to keep 5 for the family. And they can never be sued.
That's still a lot of money, though.
It is quite a
Like
bit.
an unfathomable amount of money. I can't imagine having $5 billion.
I think if I had that, I could probably retire.
Oh, yeah.
And
I could buy organic produce. I wouldn't
Oh
have
my
to
God.
check the labels. I could buy name brand cereal.
you could buy the orchard.
Yeah.
But since we don't have that, we're here down with the rest of the plebs trying to scratch out a living. And you might have to resort to 1985 style robberies.
Deputies accuse man of using Nintendo Duck Hunt pistol to rob a business.
Let's where would you even get it? Those are so uncommon.
You can still find them in like retro game shops sometimes.
I love that they put the zip tie on it.
Well, keep it safe. You don't want someone to accidentally discharge it.
I mean, you're supposed to run that through the chamber
Yeah.
on the slide, so that the slide, but there's no slide, so it's like
Just
you
put
could,
a zip tie on it.
you could slide that off. Like
Yeah.
that had to be some cops just having fun. This is gonna be a difficult headline for you. I'm not sure where I land on this because it's disgusting, but it's illegal.
Sunderland student in court over picture of Bart Simpson being abused by his mother, Marge.
They didn't say how, but obviously, it's something disgusting. So they said that this was illegal. Like, you can't have this content because it represents that, but there's no victim, right? Because Bart Simpson doesn't exist.
It does make me feel icky, though.
It does. They also,
I guess you can't legislate on just feeling icky, but
they charged him a $114 victim surcharge. Again, is that going to Matt Groening's family? What? Doesn't make any sense. That was not the only one, though. Apparently, he was really into that cartoon type of stuff. What about furries? I guess the age, right?
yeah, it's about
Couldn't you say
consenting.
that-
You could have two furries who are over the age of whatever, 18, and
What if you
it's
said
weird, but it's whatever.
But what if you said that's not young Bart Simpson? That's little person Bart Simpson. He's an adult.
The
a good lawyer?
anime avatars will argue that, unironically.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like a good lawyer. But, I don't know. I would encourage people not to do that, though.
Yeah.
I threw this in here because I saw this video, and it is astonishing the hops that she gets with her little car.
Tallahassee woman involved in a crash after she ramps parked tow truck and goes airborne. Is this like GTA?
Exactly like that, right?
Wow.
I don't know what.
I didn't see the video.
She was distracted, I guess, like probably looking at her phone. And so there's another wreck. And it's like cop cars everywhere, flashing lights everywhere. And the tow truck is sitting there in the road, in the left lane. And she just comes by and hits it full speed and just takes off. Also, shout out to that cop. He was sprinting while she was still in the air. He was calling it in and running toward her before she hit the ground.
Wow.
Like, it was just immediate reaction. She survived, but she was very hurt.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Have you ever dropped your phone in water or something and lost it?
No, I don't feel the need to take my phone everywhere I go. Like, I don't usually take it into the bathroom. I don't take it, like, if I have it at like a beach or a lake or something, I keep it away from the water.
But what about when you're taking selfies?
I don't do that a lot, but
Well, this guy did.
I don't know how to pronounce that. India official fined $640 for draining an entire dam to find his phone.
There's so many unnecessary letters in there.
Shitzigar. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
So this guy dropped his phone and he was like, oh God, I want my phone back. And so he argued because there was like government files and secrets on the phone, he had to get it. So he hired a diesel pump or a diesel truck to come in with a pump and run off a diesel engine to pump out the entire reservoir. And then when he got the phone, guess what? Waterlogged,
Can't use it.
destroyed.
Yeah.
He's going to be fired for that. He's also going to be fined. He's got to pay for all that water.
What's crazy to me is that nowhere in that process did anybody stop, because he had to borrow a phone from someone, I assume.
Oh, he said he got permission from a higher up who said, oh yeah, that'll be good because the farmers will get more irrigation from it. But that's actually not true. Like,
Yeah, they won't get it, or they'll get it all at once, and
Right,
then
yeah,
they
it's
won't
not-
have it in reserve for when the summer's too hot or dry.
yeah.
Unreal.
That's crazy. And the robberies and the PR bonds and just the lawlessness is hitting new heights. And it seems like the companies are now afraid to take any kind of stand against these criminals.
Woman called police after thieves hit a Metro Lululemon store. She was then fired.
That's not how to pronounce, right? There's an extra Lou in there. Isn't it Lululemon or
Oh, maybe it is Lululemon. I don't know. I've never said it out loud. It's like a legging store.
is that all they sell?
Yes.
Well, they must
They
be
were
high
really
dollar.
popular for a long time.
Are they
I
super
don't know that they
expensive?
still are. I'm not sure.
Why
I
would
don't
you
think
rob it?
so. Huh?
Why would you rob it then?
People really like them. They're like kind of like a hit item, I think. At least that's I've never owned a pair, but I've seen that brand and I know a lot of people like them because they have like a lot of bright colors and patterns.
Oh yeah, people definitely like them. So these people just grabbed them and they were like running. It was an organized thing.
Yeah.
And you call 911. Why not? But no, that's not the official Lululemon policy. The official policy is to just get out of the way and let them have it.
That's true. A lot of grocery stores I worked at even 10 years ago. It was like if you see someone stealing something, like you can tell them, "Hey, like don't take that." But if they start to push past you, you let loss prevention deal with that. Not worth it.
Well, I mean, because they don't have the ability to detain me.
Right.
Legally. Although they do. That's always a risky one. I don't know why they get away with that. But you would call the cops afterwards, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was the store policy. Like if you know someone's stealing, let loss prevention deal with it. And usually loss prevention would call the cops.
Not the lemon. They said there was some kind of quote, and she was like, "We don't want to be known as immediately calling the cops. Like somehow that's not acceptable in modern society."
Yeah. Strange.
Great advertisement for "Please rob us." Over in New Zealand, they are making some airline regulation changes, and this one makes sense, even though it probably makes people uncomfortable.
Air New Zealand to weigh passengers before they board the plane. Uncomfy.
Risky to lie about that.
Yeah, and could they not cram as many people in? I guess they don't want to do that because they don't have as many tickets.
Well, they're doing luggage and people.
Right.
So they'll cut luggage rather than people.
Right.
So they're trying to decide where the line is. And you're supposed to probably like pre-register that, and people lie habitually.
I don't think it's been a while since since I've flown. I don't think we had to mention our weight.
No, not in
Not in the
America.
U.S. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's probably some hidden scale along the TSA line.
Yes, they're probably already. They're like, oh, we got this from this IP address at this location. We know the weights of those people.
We'll just check your NSA profile.
Yeah.
That's up to date. And in Canada, they are once again going against cigarettes. And I gotta wonder what's in this ink.
I also had that thought.
You're gonna burn it.
Every Canadian cigarette will soon carry a health warning. So I assume it's probably a water-based ink. So newspapers and other packaging is usually printed on it uses a water-based ink now because that's healthier and it will biodegrade. So I assume that's what this is.
But in the newspapers, you don't set fire to them and inhale them.
No, but I do use them as mulch.
I guess you are eating it eventually, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's fine. Smoking is
Yeah, it's a gross habit. It is a little like, it's already on the package. Does anybody not know about how bad smoking is for you at this stage?
I don't know. Seems like it would be tough to miss that, but some people have their head in the sand. I was interested to get your take on this because I imagine you put the story in here, right?
I didn't put this in.
Oh, you didn't?
Where did it come from?
I must have done it. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I feel like this is kind of the thing that you might be a little bit into, but I think you wouldn't want the stigma.
No, I wouldn't.
Thinking.
No, maybe the rise of no wash movement. So this is for clothing, or is this for everything?
Well, starting with clothing, but then some people are like, I wouldn't wash anything unless I absolutely had to.
I can see if it's something like, I've been sitting at a desk all day. I'm just gonna put these jeans back on. Like I do that sometimes.
Yeah,
like who wears puts a new pair of jeans on every day?
I'm sure there's people. I will push jeans maybe like a week. Sometimes. Yeah. Not wearing them every day.
Right.
And I don't leave the house all that often. But they're saying, like, if you buy a new pair of jeans, and apparently washing the jeans changes this distressed look, right?
Yeah.
So at least a year, they're saying.
Of not washing them?
Of not washing
Do they freeze them? I've heard of people who will freeze their jeans.
No.
And it's a way of like killing the bacteria so like they don't smell bad, but like you don't have to ruin the wash.
They didn't mention freezing them. They did mention sunbathing, where they lay them in the sun.
I don't know if that gets quite warm enough.
And then they went further and they say, some people were like, yeah, I never wash any of my clothes. I just roll with it.
No, I mean, like I said, when I'm working from home, especially if I'm just sitting at a computer all day, I might go an extra day, but like, no. Especially after I did that hiking trip where I was out there for a week, didn't get to take a shower, didn't get to wash my clothes. I did try to do like trail laundry where I like rinsed everything in a stream. But like the best feeling in the world at the end of the week was getting in the shower and being able to put on clean clothes.
I would think jeans would get crusty after a while, right?
Yeah, I would think so
Or
too.
what if you're like, what if you get mud on them?
Yeah, or I guess maybe it's just people who never go outside. Now that it's summertime, I'm having to like shower and change my clothes a lot more because I'm outside working. Like I'll get up, been at the computer all day, just totally sedentary, go outside, work, and then I'm just covered in sweat. It's like, well, now I have to shower again.
Well, not in the future. When these people take over the world, you won't be allowed to wash things, including yourself.
Ugh.
Imagine that in a hospital.
He's 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 dying of superbugs. It's like that's okay. The AI will take care of him.
Yeah. And superbugs are apparently collecting in our guts because we've killed everything else with this horrible stuff that they've been feeding us for decades.
Chemical from Splenda breaks up DNA. That seems intense.
So sucralose, when you digest it, it turns into a sucralose 6 acetate, which they say is genotoxic, will destroy DNA.
That's really interesting. Turns out sugar was better than Splenda
Yeah.
all along.
The reason I've stayed away from artificial sweeteners is I just can't stand the taste.
Yeah, I don't like the taste
I
of
find them just like I'd rather just not have anything. But so much evidence now
Yeah.
that we really screwed ourselves. Now sugar's bad too.
Yeah, you shouldn't overindulge on any of it, but
Yeah, and that's in a lot of stuff. I think the EU maybe doesn't allow that, but we do.
I think that's aspartame.
Oh, is that what
I'm
it is?
not sure if Splenda uses a similar thing. I'm not sure exactly what it is, so but
And the water wars, that's definitely going to heat up, right? Because I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon.
Arizona announces limits on new construction in Phoenix area as groundwater disappears. It's interesting because I've talked to people who live in this area and they're like, no, they say we have enough groundwater. And then I see headlines like this and I'm like, is somebody's lying here. I don't know who it is though.
Yeah, that's an important thing to have.
Yeah, I know they had a huge like snow event in California and in the mountains, but I don't think it got to Phoenix.
Yeah, well,
I guess it could, but if
do
it
they
melted,
have snow-capped mountains in
I don't
Arizona?
think so.
Basically just a giant desert, huh?
Yeah.
What a weird place to put a city. Have you, do you have any interest in the new Little Mermaid?
Not even a little bit. I don't like any of the Disney remakes. I don't need to see them again.
Old school?
And I'm an adult too. I mean, if I had a kid, it might be more exciting to go see it with a new generation. But
Well, you might say that this is only for children, but the New York Times seems to have a different opinion.
The Little Mermaid didn't have enough kink, criticized New York Times review says. What does that mean? I don't. What does it mean?
It'd be great if the prince was like, no, keep the fins.
She can't have a safe
into-
word because she's mute.
All right, she lost her voice.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh, man.
I have to think surely that's being taken out of context, but I didn't see this full article.
You know, the other interesting thing I was reading about the Little Mermaid is that internationally, everyone hates it.
Really?
America seems to be kind of into it, but in China, it made something like $2 million.
Well, China kind of known to be.
They watch our other stuff, don't they?
Uh,
And the Utah ban on certain content on the internet is upsetting a lot of people, and they're trying for the last second save, just like the car manufacturers.
yeah. Adult filmmakers ask judge to delay Utah law requiring sites to verify user ages. I don't know that
I
they'll
didn't see
get a
an
lot of.
update. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
This was the 31st, so we don't have a ruling on that yet. But that's going to happen soon, I think.
Maybe by the time they see this, there will be an update.
If you're in Utah, check and put in the comments whether or not this happened. And the culture war is heating up. We had Bud Light. Now we've got Target, and people are cashing in on the controversy.
Boycott Target is now the #1 song on iTunes, knocking off Taylor Swift. Why? Why are people boycotting Target?
Oh, because they put certain lifestyle
Oh, like
products.
Pride stuff.
Yes, well, they went really far with it. They have swimsuits that are quote unquote. I don't know if we get away with this one. Tuck friendly,
Oh, like
right?
unisex maybe would be a way to.
No, it's specifically designed to hide.
Oh,
And here, if Tucker Carlson isn't currently working on a tuck friendly clothing line, he's an idiot. Because my God, would that sell a lot? Because clearly people are into this kind of thing. I read the lyrics to this song, which they printed here in this article. It's not great.
it's probably not very clever. Are
I
they
mean,
ever very clever?
the chorus is just like target, 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 kids. Target, 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 and target, 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 target. It's really not inspired writing here. Also, I thought, isn't Apple Music, didn't that replace iTunes?
I also thought that. I don't think iTunes is a thing anymore.
Well,
Maybe I'm wrong.
it clearly is. Maybe it's just old people using it.
Oh, I think you have to be a little bit of an old person to enjoy a song like this.
But why would old people be listening to the rap? Also, this is the guys that made it. They filmed it inside a Target, the music video. So
It's ballsy.
they're probably gonna get sued.
Yeah.
But they got some attention. But not quite as much attention as this angel.
Why you can't remember that Taylor Swift concert all too well? Do you know why that's a funny headline?
Oh, was that one of her songs?
All too well. Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know that one. I do know a couple of Swift songs, but
She's got a big discography.
she's an amazing girl. However, her majesty is what's to blame here because they describe how when you reach that level of excitement
Of Swifty.
and your entire soul is tuned into Taylor, your body kind of kicks into the fight or flight sort of situation and your memory just goes to crap. You're operating on an instinct at that point. So when you go home, you're not even going to remember it.
Expensive ticket to not remember.
You know how in the Bible, when people would witness the true angels, their minds just couldn't process it? I think that's what's going on.
Be
with
not
things.
afraid. Do you think she starts her concerts with that?
She should.
I don't get the Taylor mania. Like her songs are fine, but I've never like listened to one and be like, I need to listen to this whole album.
But she is the rare pop star who kids can still kind of like look up to, right?
Well, she's got some controversy going on right now.
Oh, what is it?
She's dating some guy from, I think the band is called the 1970s. Someone's going to correct me because this is hot drama. She's dating some guy from a band called 1975. She broke up with her boyfriend of like 7 years and then got into a relationship with this guy like a week later. So everyone thinks she's been cheating on her long-term boyfriend. Well,
That compared to the other pop star scandals, that's pretty light.
yeah. Well, apparently that guy's also a massive racist. So
The new guy or the old guy?
new guy. Yeah. I don't know all the details. I'm sure someone will describe it in many paragraphs below.
Maybe we should do a Level 1 show special just about Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, a breakdown.
And
I'm sure there's probably already a video essay about that right now.
There's probably 10 million,
Yeah.
right? Moving on to the animal section, and I tried to front load the sad, but this is we need to remember this beautiful creature.
New York Village's beloved swan taken from pond, eaten by family.
So yeah, they had this swan who was famous. They even had like merch.
Apparently
About the
they had
swan.
like a bloodline. It had been the same family of swans like for 100 years or something crazy.
They took them all, babies and mother. They sold the babies to pet stores, and they consumed the mother. How much meat is there on a swan?
I mean, swans are mean. Don't get me wrong, but that's kind of messed up.
And when something works in Hollywood, what do? They just keep iterating.
Ugh,
They just
yeah.
keep doing the same thing over.
Maybe
and
it'll work for
over
us.
and over.
Crabs join bears and sharks as victims of Hollywood cocaine epidemic. Oh, it probably got demonetized for saying cocaine.
So this is space cocaine crabs from space or something like that.
Is that really Hollywood so much as like B-movie would?
Oh, it's very low budget,
Yeah.
but it'll get views just because
People,
well,
yeah.
it's fun. It's exciting. I think Snakes on a Plane kind of started that, right? Oh, what a great lead in. This snake was not on a plane, but he might wish that he was because he was horribly abused.
Wildlife expert moves police against Odisha man for painting cobra with white color and presenting it as an albino. Obviously, it's not an albino because it's not got pink eyes. It's got pigment in the eyes.
In fact, it's just been painted.
Yeah.
Now, he points out that these ribs here are what allows the snake to move. Like, that's how
So that would be like someone putting you in like
a cast.
Yeah, really rigid.
But not only that, the bright color is going to make all of his prey immediately recognize that he's attacking. I'd say I don't know the gender. But do both male and female cobras have hoods?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I say that more confidently than I actually feel, but I think so.
So yeah, this poor guy's back in the wild, and it was just for apparently social media that this snake was painted. What an effort to go through.
That is a lot of effort. Like, that's what I don't get, right? You're putting something out that's probably like a 2-second video, but you spend hours like looking for a snake, painting a snake.
There's danger involved.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, that's all they know. That's the only validation they know.
I guess. Anyway, leave a comment and subscribe.
Don't make us go find a snake.
Please don't make us paint a snake for your attention.
Well, Krista, if you're thinking about still going for some wildlife on your homestead there might be some cheap goats coming up in California.
Firefighting goats could be furloughed due to California employment law. Is it because they're kids?
Child labor. In fact, no. It's because you have to have a herdsman.
Oh.
And the herdsmen for goats, for like these kinds of goats, almost all come from Peru.
Interesting.
And they just build them a trailer wherever the goats, like they drag a trailer in, put the Peruvian in, the Peruvian herds the goats around the clock.
Right.
So the problem with that is the new labor laws don't allow around the clock. So you would have to pay overtime to your Peruvian herdsman, who's now making like basically nothing. They would now be making $14,000 a month.
Couldn't you hire them on like contract or something?
I think
instead of hourly?
No, I think because remember the gig economy stuff, they don't allow that.
No.
They don't allow special contracts with your employees. You have to do it on the way they want it, which would put the goats completely out of business. What does that mean for the goats? Well, it means they'll be euthanized.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at getting some of our forests kind of cleared out of invasives, getting a path widened and stuff. And a lot of people were like, just use goats. And I was like, well, we got a lot to do, but I did think about goats briefly.
Well, just it's not illegal here yet. Get yourself a Peruvian.
Just set them up in a trailer.
Yeah, put them out there.
Yeah.
They'd love it.
I don't think I have that much land, but...
Well, see, that's the thing. You rent them temporarily.
Just a temporary rent of the Peruvian shepherdsman.
They come in and they clean out all the trash, and then you wait a year for it to grow back, and they rotate them. The guy said the business was booming, but now he's going out of business.
Oh, it's sad.
And this guy is going to be put out of business, but he got away with this terrible crime.
Bear charges bakery worker, then binges on 60 cupcakes. This is in Connecticut. There's been a lot of black bear activity. One of my neighbors said they saw a black bear.
So this woman was, it was a bakery, but I guess they had a couple of locations, and she was loading cupcakes to take them to another location. And this guy got a scent of that and charged her. Now they talk about the bluff charge, or what do they call it?
It's a bluff charge where they'll like run at you, but they're not actually intending to hurt you. They're trying to scare you away.
And the worst thing you can do is run away from that. Do you think that you would have the intestinal fortitude to...
For a black bear, sure. If it was a grizzly, I'd be like, I'm dead.
Really?
Yeah, you scream and wave. Usually they'll run the other way.
Well, he didn't.
Yeah.
He enjoyed those cupcakes and really made a mess of the van.
I could see that.
What does that sugar rush got to feel like if you're that?
The sweetest thing you've ever had is blackberries, and then you get 60 cupcakes. You're going into a coma.
Probably takes a really uncomfortable dump later, too.
Yeah.
People are studying the bear scat, and they're like, what happened?
What happened here? It's so blue.
It's
like weird colors, yeah.
And finally, we will end up with this just monster of a cat.
Fierce beast attacking Florida residents revealed as domestic cat with attitude.
So some joggers and people just out enjoying nature, you know, as you might, Krista.
Yeah.
They were attacked by a vicious animal, and it was such a like fast, blinding attack.
They didn't see what it was.
They weren't sure, but the injuries were so bad they had to go to the hospital to get treatment.
Wow.
And they test them for rabies, and these people weren't positive, but they're not sure what would cause a cat to do this. And thus far, no success in capturing it.
I wonder, it could be, maybe it's a mama cat. Maybe there's kittens nearby.
Maybe
Sometimes they can get real weird about their kittens.
Florida cat, like Florida man.
Yeah.
Florida cat.
I like the picture they chose too, with like the moon in the background.
Although that is not the cat in question.
Cricket wishes he was that fierce. He's the hunter of bugs. Now that it's bug season, like we'll go out on the porch and then we'll come in and like usually like a little mosquito or something will come in and Cricket.
Yeah. My cat's absolutely, if a moth gets in the house,
yeah.
that's like free entertainment.
Yeah. What Cricket will do too is like if he can't access it, he'll just sit underneath where it is and he'll go meow.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too.
Meow.
Anytime, because in their mind, they've only ever dealt with toys.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, they're screaming like, hey, why aren't you giving us the toy? Because, you know,
Why aren't you freaking out?
Yeah, when it's me, it's like, oh, you can play with the toy. But they're like, hey, give this toy to us. But it's like, no, that's not how it works.
That's a moth. You got to catch it.
Nature. They do eventually.
Yeah, Cricket usually catches stuff. Not before he knocks things off of our like shoe stand and stuff, but
why do we bring these little monsters into our homes?
because they're adorable.
They are adorable. 50 minutes.
That's not bad.
Pretty good showing.
Yeah. We will see you guys next week. Wendell should be back from Computex by then. Safe travels. Yeah.
Cross your fingers that the invasion doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Weekend.
Anyway, by the time they see this, it should be fine. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.